Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And how you doing? I hope you're doing great. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great. But do me a favor and hit that like button or the terrorists win. And for the next little while, we're going to be carrying the Nafs Lander 1. So let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I love you. So first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got the lunar scales here. We have got a thumb stud. Let's flick the stud. We got a little bit less than 3 inches of D2 steel. And we're on a liner lock. So this is one that I have been looking at for a long time and never really pulled the trigger on it. However, after I got my hands on the Lander 2 and discovered how much I like it and how much I like Nafs as a whole, I had to get it. And I got it because I wanted to buy the lunar surface scales for this thing. These are 3D textured scales. I'm not sure how easy it is to spot on camera, but these are 3D textured, and of course they look like the surface of the moon. That just sold me on this. I love stuff like this. Of course, I had to buy the scales alongside the knife and put them on myself, which that's part of what held me back a little bit, just the overall cost. But I had to do it. I was going to pull the trigger on it at some point, and I had to do it. Now, this thing is a little on the small side, but not in a bad way. The only thing that I wish they had done different is I wish they had given me a little bit more clearance on this side for the liner lock. That's one thing that I noticed right away. It's not the end-all be-all. It's not a deal breaker, but a little bit more clearance on this side would have been nice. It's not a huge problem, but it does make it a little bit hard to press this in with my big old thumbs because I've got extra large hands. And yeah, I still smashed my fingy in a door. But, you know, the pocket clip on this thing, the pocket clip is a medium pull. The dingus end of the pocket clip is raised up well enough where it should get in the pocket easy and back out of the pocket easy. It will centrifugal open, which that is fantastic. After carrying the Rosecraft that wouldn't centrifugal open, it's going to feel really good to carry this thing for a while. And of course, I haven't centrifugal open this thing much, so I've got to get used to where I got to put my thumb and my finger on this to get it to centrifugal open, because when you're doing knives that you can centrifugal open and you carry a lot of them, the point where the centrifugal force kicks in and the fulcrum does what it's supposed to, those are some fancy words. But when everything does what it's supposed to, you got different grip points from knife to knife to knife to where it's in the happy spot in the butter zone. So I'm not used to this one yet, but let's take a look at the factory edge and see how she's doing. Little bit on the rough side, but not too shabby. Nothing I'm going to complain about. I'm going to guess, I'm going to guess around 200. But we're going to break out the electronic edge sharpness tester, kindly provided by you guys through your channel memberships, your super chat donations, what have you. Thank you for the support. I will always be grateful. And let's see what we got in here. And the way this works, if you haven't seen one of these before, is it measures the number of grams of force it takes to cut through the wire on this calibrated test clip. The lower the number, the better. All right, I'm arming the boy. Everyone stand back. All right, let's see what we got. I'm going to wipe the edge off. And of course, I like to see 175 or below for my factory edges. Oh, 139. Okay. So the cut on the paper, this may just be a toothier edge, which is not a bad thing. I don't mind a toothy factory edge. Now, of course, by the time I get done sharpening it, I like putting a mirror polish on my edges, even though it is somewhat to the detriment of the knife itself and detriment to my cutting experience. You know, when you're push cutting paper, the mirrored edge on it is super nice and feels super good, and you can get low numbers on the sharpness tester. I'm leaving that in. But you can get lower numbers on the edge sharpness tester, but it doesn't cut a lot of materials as well as the toothier edge does. So a toothy edge from the factory doesn't bother me at all. That 139 is a great number. I'm real happy to see that. This is part of why I like Nafs so much, is the build quality on this. With the factory scales, the build quality felt top-notch. The action on this is top-notch. You know, it's good enough to centrifugal open. Definitely not a problem there. And of course, with these lunar scales, the edges are chamfered. Ooh, there's that $5 word. But the edges have got a really, really nice, soft, rounded chamfer on them. They look like they're going to be real comfortable in the pocket. It's got a small profile, so it should be easy to get stuff out of the pocket around it. Now, I know for a fact that the paint on this thing right here, the coating on this, is probably going to rub off on this a little bit and stain it, but we don't do shelf queens here, even though I do want to shelf queen this thing. I'm not going to put the factory scales back on here because I want to carry it and show it off, which I'm going to enjoy showing this thing off to coworkers. And one of my guys that I feel like I'm this close to turning him into a knife guy and pushing him into irresponsible purchases on a regular basis. I feel like I'm this close. This might help. This is about the right size for him, and this has got a little bit of novelty to it that it's kind of hard to really put a finger on. And that's the thing, is I like the novelty. And of course, if you go on Knaps.com, like, I don't find the Lander 1 on sale there. I don't find the Lander 1 on sale there, but what I do find is the Lander 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the Lander series all has these aftermarket scales that you can swap out, which I do like the aftermarket scales being there on the website and easy to find. And then you know they're going to fit. You know you're not going to have issues with them. They're just going to work. But yeah, I already love this thing. And I love it just for the scales on it. Like I said, the scales just sold me on this. I don't know about you. Not everybody's going to like them that much, but this really, really sold me on it. But, yeah, I've been looking forward to carrying this thing for a while. I have not been looking forward to getting schmutz on the scales because the scales are what sold me on it. But what do you do? If you're going to carry it, you're going to carry it. You know, the first time it gets dinged, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. But, yeah, and, like, I don't know whether or not, because I believe this is a 3D print of some sort. I believe, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure exactly what the material on the scales is. But I don't want to put acetone on this and run the risk of melting the surface and doing even more damage. I may try to clean it up with rubbing alcohol instead, which doesn't get the job done quite as well. Maybe. Or I may just leave it as is. But yeah, I'm already in love with this thing. I've been excited about carrying it, so I'm going to enjoy the next little while. It may be a couple of weeks. And I don't know what it is, guys. It's just, you know, like the number of views on the live stream has gone down in the toilet. The channel's not supporting itself anymore. It's really demoralizing. It hurts to see after the amount of work I put into the growth that we've gotten. I am immensely grateful for the growth that we've gotten. I am immensely grateful for everything that's happened. But man, just seeing the numbers drop that hard out of nowhere, it hurts. But, you know, what do? You keep going. You know, I'm at a low spot right now, but once I get my mojo back, I should be back in the swing of things, regardless of the numbers, regardless of the channel not supporting itself, because I got a bunch of knives in the box to carry me through the low spots. So we still got enough material to keep going for a while, but yeah, if the channel's not supporting itself, things may die off, and that's part of it too, is I'm trying to space these out a little bit so that I have some material to cover a while until things pick back up again. So, yeah, that's what's going on with the channel. That's kind of why I've been absent for the last couple of weeks. It's just, to summarize, it's been demoralizing seeing the number of views drop, and I'm trying to space these out a little bit so that I might be able to ride out this low spot until the channel can support itself again, because that's part of how we've been doing this. So, that's enough griping out of me. That's everything I can say to think about this thing. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments. I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.